In the future, the world sucks, and instead of fixing it, humanity decided to fight the broadband wars and then create the Matrix. But in a fun way, stuffed full of eye-popping visuals and amazing levels of pop culture that all seem to have stopped about 1989. But that's okay, thought I, setting about researching this review. It's based on a book about pop culture, so maybe it was written in 1994, oh, it was written in 2011. Okay, then I'm just going to revert back to my inalienable belief that the books don't matter, and get on with reviewing the most Spielbergy film I've seen in years. Which makes sense given that the man himself directed it, and it's therefore completely understandable why none of his films are referenced here. He thought it was a bit vain, which is completely understandable. He's not totally absent though. An item from a film he produced does appear prominently in the film. But there are so many items from other films that I have no idea how they were able to get all of the licenses for characters ranging from the Ninja Turtles to the Holy Hand Grenade from Monty Python to, well, pick a franchise. My personal favourite? Let's just say that aiming to misbehave has thus far served me well in life. But one cannot make a film out of pop culture references alone, and here we get to one of several issues with the film. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks amazing. Within seconds of getting out of the cinema, I was texting both of the people I know, telling them to see this film in IMAX 3D, because my inner 8-year-old was fully in the driving seat and high on a sugar rush. But once that sugar rush faded, I began to realise how generic the plotline actually was, with an evil corporation taking on a gang of kids in order to gain control of a thing by undertaking a quest to collect 3 things. You've seen it done a million times, and you've seen it done better, with villains who actually have backstories and seem slightly menacing or threatening, as well as heroes who have charisma in either the virtual or the real world, or at least don't make me wonder if I'm being reminded of a Final Fantasy character or the lead guy from Reboot. It's packed full of cliches, with narration that repeats itself almost word for word, maybe 20 minutes apart, with information that wasn't terribly interesting or relevant the first time around. Also, the real world scenes seem like an imposition as well as dull and uninteresting compared to the rest of the film. It's like going straight from a really sugary cake to styrofoam at a second's notice. It's also to the film's detriment, as when I'm not being distracted by playing Spot the Easter egg, I begin to notice just how little I care about any of the people in this film. It's all very predictable, and to be honest, I'm not sure how well it will hold up to repeat viewings, as CGI visuals age badly, and there's very little to reward you for sitting through it again on the small screen once you've freeze-framed through the film to see how many Easter eggs it truly has. And I wanted more of the real world explained to me. Is there a government? If so, how does a corporation get away with basically slave labour and having their own people abduct civilians off the street? What exactly were the broadband wars? Does anyone truly believe in the speech that makes everyone fight for you cliche anymore? If the world is running on fumes, how does everyone afford VR technology? And how is such a purely virtual world kept online with such limitations? Where is the infrastructure? The power requirements must be off the chart, but that's never addressed. I'm not saying the film is hopeless, but once the sugar rush wears off, you basically realise this is the Goonies meets the Matrix whilst running through a forbidden planet with your hands outstretched throwing everything in sight into your basket. And if that sounds fun to you, then go see it in IMAX 3D. I mean, there's absolutely worse things out there, but this could have been so much better. Just develop the heroes a bit more. Get a less generic villain. Either develop or ditch the real world stuff. Make the plot slightly more complex and you could have a winner. I mean, I fully expect the film to get a nomination for Best Visual Effects. And whilst it's true that the first bite is taken with the eye, sooner or later the rest of you has to get involved at some point. It's an incredibly beautiful, amazing, missed opportunity. It's if nothing else is on, yeah, check this out. Otherwise, just don't bother. But what did you guys think, and what's been your favourite Easter egg in another film? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, this has been A Dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.